You look so nice.
Thank you very much. I could say the same for you.
Oh boy, I got a nice little echo. Isn't that wonderful?
Is it coming from me? The echo?
No, it's just it's the web connection. It just never is enough.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was me. I don't
know. I mean, there is quite an echo.
On my end.
I don't know. It's when I speak, I hear it. Did you hear that?
Well, I can actually hear you quite clearly, with no echo, no reverb.
Okay, when I talk, I can hear myself. Maybe a 1 second lapse or 2 seconds even.
Oh, okay. So there might be a delay because of the internet connection. So we'll just improvise around that. Guys and girls, welcome to it. It's a pleasure to have your company at this hour. This is Doing It Sober Live with Daniela Park and myself, Chris Snell. The name of the game is we're going to provide you with some answers that hopefully you can put into your toolbox. Remember, anything in life is be able to accomplish with the golden rule, as long as you do it sober. And as if right on cue, Mark Kendall. Hi there, Mark.
Hey, guys. How's
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Fantastic. And yourself?
Yeah. Actually, with the help of my wife, we figured this out to do it on my phone. Hopefully, I can get the... Okay, that looks better. I don't look so short now.
With that said, let's introduce our guest. The world of rock and roll has been famed, or rather notorious, for the full-tilt subculture of recklessness, although that phase came and went by the same manner as the typewriter. Whether that notoriety has had a lingering effect from a combination of tabloid journalism, continued participation by misguided followers, the actual truth behind the industry of rock and roll today has seen a rather visible paradigm shift regarding socio-economic issues and even the build of positive relationship building with audiences locally and worldwide. Our gentleman who joins us today, Mark Kendall, knows this facet all too well. As guitarist and an integral part of the cult favorite Great White, Mr. Kendall has fashioned himself as an old soul musician who enjoys human connection and believes that even though a lot has changed, much ought to remain the same. I'll give you a couple of examples: record making, songwriting, and even purchasing music alike. Mark also has a head on his shoulders, having thrown his weight behind the charity Music Cares, which has seen him featured on both radio and TV with his efforts in promoting recovery. And here on Doing It Sober Live, we proudly present to you Mark Kendall. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Daniela.
Hi. Wasn't that a nice little intro?
Yeah. Wonderful.
So how's Mark Kendall today?
I'm sorry?
How's Mark Kendall today?
Everything's great. We're just chilling at home. We just did 3 shows in a row, so I'm accepting this rest day. And, just hanging out. Went by a friend of mine to give him a present just out of the blue, not for a birthday, not for Christmas, not for anything, just my buddy. I went by his shop, and they own a spa, and I just brought him a gift just out of the blue, just to be, a gift giver, I guess.
How nice.
There's no better feeling than to give rather than to get. Am I right?
Yeah. They own a spa, and my wife goes there and stuff, and I don't know. They're just really giving people themselves. So I like to surprise people, instead of waiting for some special occasion, just, just show your love some other, just on a regular old Monday or whatever, you know what I mean? And yeah, sure.
Mark, tell me, I've come to know you through your music. I'm a radio DJ and I play a lot of rock songs. Whereabouts did your passion for music start? Let's begin with that.
Yeah. Well, my parents, my dad was a trumpet player, a jazz trumpet player, and my mother was a singer. So there was always music in the house when I was a little boy, and I kind of latched on to melody right away and used to sit by their record player, like a hi-fi, and sing along to "Girl from Ipanema" and stuff. You know what I mean? And I remember my mother told my dad he sings in keys. You know what I mean? So I I think I kind of inherited my parents' ears, and later down the road, when I was about 9 years old, I got a guitar, and it seemed to come pretty natural. And by the time I was 10, I played in my fourth grade class. Gloria Pipeline, Wipeout, and Secret Agent Man. And
Wow.
so I really didn't put it down. It's still in my hands today. But when I was, yeah, from 15 till 17 is where I really feel I honed my skills. Like I didn't leave my guitar even to go to the store. I would bring my guitar with me because I didn't want to leave it for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So I was like a crazy man. But it's just a love for the music, and I think the reason we've been around so long is we're constantly trying to improve. We think we're going to write the best song of our lives any moment. You know, so that's what keeps our energy up. You know what I mean?
Sure. Danny, it's
So,
your turn.
yeah. So 40 years basically of rocking and rolling. How long have you been sober now?
In November 1st of this coming year, it'll be 14 years.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
I had a lot of years where I was dabbling in sobriety, but the term in programs is known as one foot in the door and one out. Uh, so my foot out the door was the one that looked at the clock in the rooms and couldn't wait to leave, and you know what I mean. And I think the reason I kept going back over the years, even though I just removed alcohol, do no self work whatsoever, but I was able to, well, they call it a dry drunk, which is somebody who just removes alcohol and doesn't do any self
Yes.
work.
Yeah, yeah.
I would go 2 years literally without drinking, and what would happen is I was so jealous of people that could drink normal, I kept trying to do it myself and failing every time. you
Yeah, of
know.
course.
So in 2008, I did something I hadn't really done before, which is become honest, and literally called my wife from the road. I was in Utah and told her I drank, but I said the good news is when I get home, but I told her this before. I said this time I really mean it. I'm going to go to talk to guys with 30 plus years sobriety, do everything they say, take direction, because I really want to be sober. But, and I'm willing to do the work and all this stuff with my character defects, the lying for no reason. It just became a part of being an alcoholic. I would tell my wife I had pizza when it was a hamburger. That's how bad it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now I'm not only honest to her, but to myself. Um, I've done a lot of work with my fears that I had. I've always had this embedded fear, not afraid to admit it. so the alcohol became like a vehicle for me to be able to hang around very small crowds, be the cocky guy, be the funny guy, and
Mm-hmm.
with 4 beers, it became so much easier. So,
Right.
but it becomes a rut, and that's where I got in trouble. Was I call it? I've named it chasing normal because like I've said before, it's not like I want to be wasted out of my mind at 10 a.m., but I don't want to feel bad either. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot of work. That's all I can tell you. It's so much work, that maintenance and balancing your bad feeling with getting rid of that. But when I saw that I could drink 4 beers and it got rid of the fear, it really became my fear was my biggest trigger. So I needed to
Mm.
figure that out. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I worked with another guy. The way I became improved in that area, because I've always been shy as well, is
Mm.
I confronted people when
Oh.
maybe they were either talking behind somebody's back, maybe
Mm.
they're doing something I don't approve of, and I would confront, and it was very tough. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
it might sound easy to you guys, but for me, it was just awful. And I just practiced that. And the more I realized, what am I afraid of in this life? I can't believe I have so much fear. And I kind of
Mm.
outran my fear. I literally outran it. And
Wow.
today I can be in my living room with 8 people and play my acoustic guitar without coffee flying out my nose. You know what I mean? So, so, and that was my biggest difficulty, was small social gatherings and me just
Okay.
to be dead sober. I couldn't do it. So,
Mm.
playing in front of 300,000 people, that was a different story, which I still drank there too, but I wasn't as afraid because I felt so removed from the audience, even though it's a lot of people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
more intimidated by small groups. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but today I can actually say that you know I think I'm just a better person overall. I can kind of live with myself comfortably. I feel like I'm living right. Um, at least the best I can. My friend said something funny. He goes, "I think I'm going to get a neck tattoo that says I'm doing the best I can." That would be
Love it.
perfect for me. You know what I mean?
I love
But
it.
yeah, yeah. So
So,
that's
as
pretty
far
much
as
my
your
story in a very small nutshell.
sure, sure. So, your new life in sobriety, what's changed? Like, has your creativity changed? What's different?
Well, what was different just out of the beginning is I was getting sober for the right reason. Yeah, I wasn't doing it because, my kids don't like daddy drunk and my wife just doesn't like the way I act when I drink.
Yeah.
I literally did it for myself because I just figure everything else is going to take care of itself. So I don't need to get sober for any one thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been told down the road from people that have experienced being in and out, it's if you get sober for because your wife doesn't like you drunk or whatever, it's the second she's happy, you drink again. The second
Oh.
you gain that trust, you use again. And so, but if you do it for yourself, you're always with me, you know. So I I figured, my chances of success are a lot better. And the other thing that I've really held on to for dear life is one day at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and the newcomers that I work with, when they start coming in telling me, I'm done and I'll never drink again, I'm so over that stuff, I worry. I go, dude, don't put these impossible tasks in front of yourself. You have to not drink
Yeah.
forever, but let's just get through today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. So that's the way I've really done it. And my relationship has improved immensely. Um,
Mm,
I'm just happy all the time. I mean, I feel similar every day. I thank God every day. Um, you know, just a little small prayer here and a small prayer there, just giving thanks.
right.
My kids absolutely love me.
Oh,
Um, what else? Great friends, great energy. I channel my energy elsewhere instead of trying to fix my mixture. you know, that's what I tell people, man. It's such an easier life. I promise you.
mm-hmm.
Sobriety is such an easier life than active addictions, and you know there is another life available to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're thinking about getting sober, because I know I went through my head forever, I actually was, thinking about it, but your first thought is, God, I can't imagine my life just not being able to party at all. It's just going to be like boring mania. Believe it or not, that's really common. And
Yeah.
so I believe a lot of people think that there's no enjoyment available
Mm,
unless you have a buzz. And
right.
and that's just because you're kind of programmed that way because you're so used to, partying down. But I've had a couple people come to me and say, "Man, is that all you're going to talk about?" And I'm going, "Dude, listen, I'm not talking to you. You're a sociable drinker. You're the guy that drinks 4 beers and watches the game. I'm talking to people suffering.
Right.
I'm not talking to people that drink socially and I'm talking about people that roll out of bed and just fill up big gulp cups with whiskey. You know what I mean? And that might be on the brink of death. So
Yeah.
that's the people I'm reaching out to, just in case there's because a lot of times, especially the people I've worked with, I've found that just an encouraging word can help them.
Right.
Just in just offering my sober friendship and support might get somebody to want to find a sober path.
Mm-hmm.
It's shocking, but I'm absolutely telling you the truth. It's
Yeah.
sometimes I can give you an example of the first guy I worked with. His wife had told him that she didn't want to watch him dying anymore, and
Mm,
it crushed him.
wow.
Um, but she was supportive. She wasn't going to leave. She was supportive, but just it was hard for her to watch this guy just roll out of bed and start drinking whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But he saw my post the same day she said that, gets a hold of me, and he gets in contact with Music Cares. They get him into a place called Cumberland in Nashville.
Mm,
Uh, you know, he has like 8 years sobriety today, or nine. No, I think it's nine. He
that's
went
great.
from patient to counselor in 5 years. Uh, you know,
Wow.
what? It's like when things like that happen. So tell somebody, instead of using Facebook to tell everybody how great I am, I
Mm.
think I think I want to try this. Reaching out to people that are struggling. And
Yeah.
it's been a complete joy. Been a complete joy.
Tell us about the outreach work that you've done with Music Cares. I understand Alice Cooper as well has done a lot of work for
Sure.
Music Cares and won the Stevie Ray Vaughan Award for his philanthropic
Yeah.
work in that area.
Well, as far as music cares goes, occasionally I'll run into a musician that's in trouble. Uh, so music cares will step in and help. They help musicians, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. You can play weddings once a year, and just show them a flyer that you're a flute player, and they'll get you in rehab.
Right.
So
Oh, that's
they're a
cool.
wonderful entity, And I like to get involved, and I go around and speak at meetings anyways. It doesn't have to be music cares. I just, if they have an event, I'm going to go support it and,
Mhm.
be an advocate and all that. But I also go, if somebody's celebrating 90 days sobriety, I'll go speak for 45 minutes at that meeting. You know what I mean? So people that are in early recovery, sometimes, they don't make it, and, it's tough. So I like to at least give them all my story, and
Mhm.
hopefully they take something from that helps them. And maybe, you know, you never know. I've worked literally, and the only reason I know the exact number is because I send out daily meditation. But I've worked with 134 people in the last 10 years, one on one, and I've seen so much success. It's silly. It completely defies this low percentage situation that they talk about in the 12-step programs, which I never promote, by the way. I've never went
Mhm.
out there and said, so and so program is the greatest ever, and I think you should get
Yeah.
sober that way. The only thing
Mhm.
I've done is shared my story. I just tell them the way I did it. They don't have to do it that way. They can go pray to their furniture and get sober, as far as I'm concerned. But just I do it. I tell them the way I did it, and they might be able to take a couple things from that, and maybe, that'll be helpful, because obviously what they're doing is not working so good. So I don't know. I know I was inspired by people, in fellowship situations where four people will tell their story, and it's my story every time.
Yeah.
It's like, because here's the difference now, you asked earlier, between back whenever, is I used to call everybody that went to these program, you know, I'd call them Nazi program. I'd call it everything but what it is. And I always called everybody those people. Those people. I am no way one of those people. You know what I mean? I just refuse to be one of those people.
Right.
And once I accepted that I am one of those people, then I started listening more intently, and realized that I can't believe that guy right there used to take out the trash and sneak a couple drinks. I thought I
Oh.
wrote that. I thought I could, patent that. And this guy actually did the same thing. I can't believe it. I thought it was the most brilliant move ever, right? I'm taking out the trash, honey, and I tip back a 40, but so you hear your story, and it makes you realize not only are you in the right place, but you're not alone. It's like
Yeah.
these other people have the same problem I do with their compulsive life. And that's one thing I really have to police myself on, is like, I get into something, I have to be the best in the world, and I just wig out, and so I have to kind of watch that. But that's part of my thing too, is I'm so compulsive. I always been that way too. Like, if I play baseball, I got to be the greatest baseball player that ever lived, and you know, I practice more than anybody in history. So, um, but it's almost sick how intense I am. But I don't know. I just kind of channel my energy. I think my life is way better balanced today, as far as with my relationship, being a guitar player, being, you know, a, a dad, a grandfather to my little 9-year-old, baseball, soccer, football, swimmer,
A
drummer,
real
guitar player,
Wow.
you know. Um,
Oh.
so I get a lot of enjoyment with all that too, and so that's the difference. And it's not, the me. Even though my T-shirt has my own picture on it, I don't have anything for sale. And you know, and the other funny thing is, I play for free, so I'm not even selling that. It's I make a little charge for traveling, but I actually go play concerts free. But they pay me to fly around and get burned out and tired. Um, no, I'm just kidding. But anyways, somebody they go, God, you got a picture of yourself on your shirt, and I'm like, yeah, it's not ego, it's insecurity.
God bless you for that good sense of humor, Mark. God bless.
Thanks, Chris.
So what about your other band members? Are any of them sober or are any of them
No, they're all
drinkers or
normal. They're all normal. You know, which it just seems impossible to me. My drummer, maybe after a gig, drinks one beer,
Oh.
one, and then he doesn't drink the second one. He just stops right there. I mean, I don't even like to think about it. I just go, dude, I don't know how you guys do that. That's just
Yeah.
impossible. But the keyboard player, Michael Lardy, guitar player, he doesn't drink at all. You know,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So there's no big party atmosphere going on. Even though if there was, if it was, as long as it wasn't like people shooting heroin around me or something, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Nothing bothers me about what other people do
Mm.
these days, but I never have the cocky attitude like I got this stuff handled. Do what you
Yeah.
want. I know I'm not going to drink. I never think that way. I'm
Mhm.
always in the day I'm at, and it's like if something comes around and I get a thought, I get out my 12 gauge and shoot it. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, buddy. Because alcoholics, we're town planners.
Yeah.
Literally, when I was going through those dry drunk runs, I would go, man, there was the biggest window of opportunity to drink right here. There's no way I'm missing out. You know what I mean? So we're literally town planners. We could be really good real estate agents or something. But
Oh my god.
now my plan is to not drink today. I literally, it's so stupid simple how I keep it because confusion can be a trigger also. I've seen it
Mhm.
over and over. They, you get frustrated, especially early sobriety. You're really mad, and you start throwing excuses and you get into that F it vibe and you know so which anger can also be a trigger. When I work with people, I like to identify their triggers. I like to know
Mhm.
what is it that kind of makes you have the urge to use or drink or whatever your drug of choice is. Try to identify all that and see if we can keep you away from those triggers. um
Mhm.
because a lot of times in the early part, especially of your sobriety, you're really vulnerable, and you're you need to be careful and all that. And just really stick to the program. But I've seen people blow it after 20 years too, so that's
Yeah.
why I really stay in the moment and just enjoy it because I really do enjoy this life, and I don't take it for granted. I, that dark life, that dark place that I used to live, it's never that far away. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems very close. I know it's hovering right there. If I even raise a drink to my mouth, I know something bad will happen. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding you. It's happened
I get it.
before when I would decide to drink. I, a bunch of bad stuff happened. The car would break down, I'd get a flat tire, get all these bills in the mail. It's like the universe or something knows I'm not living right. It's just amazing. People don't, it doesn't even sound believable, but it's happened so many times that I don't even question it. I
Yeah.
know that but I have no desire um, at this time to ever revisit that dark place, I really enjoy to continue to move to the light, and the whole world opens up. And you can't believe all the things that are available for you to do now, because you were so tunnel visioned into your drugs and your alcohol that that becomes a full-time job just to feel well. And yeah, it's a pained life. I really feel bad for people that are in that life, because I know the suffering. I lived it. That's why I like to reach out.
Mm.
Mark, I have an honest question, and let's revise. You're a successful musician and instrumentalist. You and your group, Great White, wrote cult hit upon cult hit. But from what I'm hearing about what you're speaking, nowadays in recovery, you play for the joy of it. You're grateful for the success that you've had in both areas. Since achieving sobriety, how have you remained centered in the years to follow? Do you understand my question? Would you like me to rephrase it for you?
Repeat the end. How do I what?
How do you remain so centered as a person
Uh huh.
in both your recovery and in your professional life as a musician?
Um, you know, I think I have an answer to that. It's just I don't take myself that serious. You know,
Ah, Rule
I
63.
don't I don't really complicate. I try not to complicate my life. I just really keep things fairly simple. I don't overthink anything. You know, my attitude is when I'm play is like point me to the stage and tell me when to stop. You know, uh, you know, and I don't know. I'm just living simply, but I'm enjoying every moment. You know, I just I know what the other side looks like, and so I hope that answers it. I just you know I just try to keep everything as simple as possible. I think I've learned a lot from people that have a long term sobriety,
Mm.
and they've really taught me. You know, a lot of times, what I notice, you know, when I work with somebody, because sometimes I work with one person like for a while, you know, it's ongoing because they're not quite getting it, and you know, um, so and part of that reason I think is, you know, they're not doing this self work enough. Like with me, a lot of times you'll have childhood things that you
Yeah.
might have buried. You know, maybe it was an abuse situation, or something you've kind of your mind has told you just to bury it. You know, but sometimes it's good to talk about it, and you just kind of hunt everything down that can possibly come up that will bother you, whether it be something from the way in the past, maybe, you know, you had an abusive parent or something that you just don't want to face. And you know, there's a lot of things, like with me it was mostly fear, which is very common with a lot of addicts and alcoholics. They live with fear, and you know, so the fear is a very common trigger to use, you know, because you want to mask that fear. You want it to go away, and even though it's still there, by using your drug, it makes it go away artificially. But then when your drug wears off, it comes back even stronger. So it's really just lingering, waiting for the drug to wear off. And then you need more and more
Yeah.
and more. You know, that's what I mean about the rut life. I just can't deal with it. It's
Mm.
it's just it's such torture. It's just awful. Uh, um, so there's nothing in my life, and I mean nothing in my life, that I like to see more than sick people get well.
Yes.
That's admirable of you, Mark. Not many.
Yeah, I mean, you see a person that looks so awful, you think there's no hope almost. And then all of a sudden
Mm,
they look wonderful. It's like amazing. I just can't
yeah,
believe it's the same person. And so that almost becomes an addiction for me in itself, you know. I better
it
be
is.
careful with even that because I love it so much. But plus, to see other people's relationship get better. You know, this isn't all about me. You know, yeah, I share about the things that got better for me, but they can get better for you too.
Yeah.
So that's fun. You know, maybe somebody that's lost a lot, maybe their wife, their kids, their house, their car, their job, and then they slowly get everything back. That's always sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good things that happen with getting well.
Hmm. You still
And
go
it's
to
great what you're
meetings, of
doing,
course?
Daniela, too, man. I really dig I always
Thanks.
try to, you know, put you in my tags and stuff because I know
Hmm.
you promote sobriety and it's really awesome.
Thank you. That's super cool. So you still go to meetings weekly or and when you're on the road too?
To tell you the truth, yeah, I have gone to a couple on the road, but I don't go to tons of meetings. But I'm working with someone or
Yeah.
another on every single day of my life. I mean, there is never a day that goes by that somebody doesn't have a question or a
That's
newcomer
great.
will message me because I'm not hiding from anybody. I have
Right.
told the world that in every
Yeah.
podcast. I'm not one of these bitchin' rock stars that's hiding from the world and you only see me on stage. I I am a sober advocate. I make myself totally available to anyone on the planet. You can get a hold of
Wow.
me on Facebook. I am not hiding. I will get back to you. I will call you on the phone. We'll talk. We'll get you off the building and down the ladder and get you back to
That's
the, you know, down to earth and we'll try to figure this thing out. I think there's a lot of people that want to be sober, but they don't know how to take the first step. You know,
Mhm.
I know I didn't. My band was going to do an intervention and I sensed it coming and I told them, "Hey dudes, you know, like I want to be sober, but I've never done it before. What do you do? I mean, you go to rehabs or, you know, what the hell? I've never even tried to quit." And so, you know, so I know that there's people out there that might be thinking about it and maybe it's just going to take, "Hey man, I'm more Kendall. You can get a hold of me and I'll tell you
Yep.
my story where I should be dead."
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And you never know. They might go, "Holy crap, that's how you did it, huh? Shoot,
Hmm.
I'm gonna look into this. This sounds pretty cool."
Now, Mark, if I may ask, and this is sort of a part two to my previous question. If you look at yourself,
Yeah,
if you look at yourself previously and what you have accomplished today, I'm sure your higher power, like me, is dog spelled backwards, which is God. You've given
yes,
so much of your time and you've used your popularity for the better of those who are suffering. What are some of the life lessons that you've learned in recovery about yourself and how you've bettered yourself in the period going forward?
yeah. Well, one thing I've learned about myself, I think, is especially when I started dissecting my character defects, is
Mm.
how totally imperfect I am. I mean, I am a hot mess, man. I mean, I have so many bad habits, and you know, and so I've literally had to just kind of work on them one day at a time. It's so like one at a time. It's such an ongoing. It's a lot. It's life's work. It's not going to be
Mhm.
done in, you know, 3 months and 22 days.
Yeah.
And you're all done, and you just go, "God, thank God, man. That was a lot of work." No way. It goes on and on and on because you never totally conquer it. You just improve. I'm trying to improve in all these areas, and because it makes it easy to live with yourself if you're honest. And I'm
Mhm.
not a goody two shoes. I've thrown my share of f bombs, and I complain about things. So I'm not just squeaky clean, like trying to be perfect boy. I'm
Yeah.
just working on things that'll improve myself, so it just makes my life easier. You know, just to know I did the work, and whatever. Um, God, there's so many things that I've had to deal with. Loss. I've suffered a lot of loss. Got through all that. I think about the worst things that have happened to me that could be a trigger for drinking. I got through them all. So, you know, and, I try to mourn properly, and, I feel everything everyone else feels and stuff. It's just I don't escape it by going back to my drug of choice. You know what I mean? I
Sure.
kind of take it on the chin and move down the road. you know,
Well,
just accept life on life's terms or whatever.
sure. Life gets lifey is the other way that you can express it. But when
Yeah,
life happens, of course, it hits you like a hit between the eyes and you never see it coming. There's plenty of responses one can take. And when one is an addict, that threat of perhaps going into that dark corner of your mind where you want to mope, and then perhaps, of course, where you can I say it expressly?
yeah,
Where the threat of relapse is imminent.
yeah,
But then, of course, there's that third option where you can just say, God, I don't know anymore. Please, just leave.
yeah. I pretty much surrendered the way you just said. The other thing is I was so selfish. I mean, just a selfish, self-absorbed person,
Mm.
as the guy that has his own T-shirt on says. No, but seriously, um, I am truly a caring person. I really care about people recovering. Um,
Sweet.
you know, I don't, people that give, people that don't give, and just try to hover on the money and try to do everything possible for themselves. I get why they do that, because they want to survive. It's just a survival instinct. But what they're missing is the giving.
Hmm.
And I never thought I would be the type of person that would be giving and trying to help people that I don't know. But the feeling you get from the energy that you experience, it's like it blows your mind. It's just like, but I didn't get anything. All I did was give something to that guy. Yeah, but when you see the result from it, and
Yeah.
you see a whole family get happy, and just everything good, it kind of humanizes you a little bit, and you go, man, you know, I am literally sitting here feeling so much joy in my heart that I almost feel like I'm, not so bad, you know, like like
Yeah.
I really care about people. Like I love it that this dude is doing good, you know,
And you are.
and it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with him. So that's pretty neat.
Are you a religious person or spiritual?
Yeah, I'm. You know, I've been going to church since I was like 12. Used
Okay.
to be in plays and stuff, and um, I wouldn't call my. I would just say I'm spiritual in the sense I pray. Um,
Hmm.
I'm not the most brilliant Bible study person that you're ever going to meet. That I promise. But but I have faith that there's something out there. I had a pastor, I've been baptized in 2010 and stuff like that.
Mm,
Um, I don't. One thing I don't do, especially in my sober walk and my being an advocate of wellness, is I don't preach to anyone. I don't
mm.
say, dude, you got to do it this way, or this way. I just say, I tell them how I did it, and if they want to take some of that, fine. And if they have a question, of course, I'll give my opinion on it. But one thing I'm not going to do is go, you need to be here at 7:30, and you need to do this or that. I tell them verbatim how I did it, literally. I
Yeah,
mean, I walk them through,
it's
and
great.
I kind of did it, ABC cookie cutter, especially in the beginning. But
Yeah.
so my hope is they'll just take a few things from that, just to get them started, and then if they have some other way, you know, I've seen. You see, to me, there's a scale. It's a scale that starts at zero and goes all the way over to 10 or whatever. And that around the zero guy is the guy that gets a DUI and never drinks for the rest of his life just because of that
Mm,
DUI. He's so pissed. And then a guy that loses everything he's ever had in his life and still drinks.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's other people in between that need a little nudge and, hey man, come over here, man. I'll be your sober friend. You can call me every day. Really? Yeah. You give me a call. I don't care if it's 4 in the morning. If you have an urge to
That's so
drink or something,
cute.
I'll talk to you. You know,
I
and
know.
they might do good. So it's frustrating. I know for a lot of parents that have kids that they just can't seem to get it going, and
Mhm.
it becomes an enabling situation for some parents
Yes.
because they love their child so much, but they know they're messing up, they're doing the heroin thing, and you know and they're giving them money for it and stuff like that. I've seen that. um,
Mm,
I know
wow.
how tough that is on people. I know how tough it is because they don't want to watch their kid die, but giving them money is, I don't think, the answer either.
No.
But I've thought about it a lot, and I don't really, I got really hurt and upset in the beginning of helping people when they don't make it.
Yeah.
But what I found is, and I had to speak to a couple people, is I cannot take someone's addiction personally. I
Mm,
can only give all I can give and just pray they make it. Um, if somebody doesn't want sobriety either, that is a tough nut to crack. If you
yeah.
don't want to get well, how am I going to get you well? you know,
Right.
I mean, you have to kind of want it, I think. And I wanted it desperately. And I think that kind of lend itself to my why I've had some success, you know. And they're reaching out, getting involved, not hiding, not isolating. I don't like the isolating bit. I don't think that's any good for anybody, even if you're not a drinker. you know, I think you should have a little fellowship with a few people and you know just stay active a little. Um,
I'm impressed. I really see this. That's what the whole spirit is about giving back. And
yeah,
that's,
big time.
and that keeps you sober. And, you're doing a damn good
Yeah,
job, Mark. I'm proud of you.
thank you. Thanks
It's
so
pretty
much.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I don't do it for any other reason apart from enjoyment. Like I said, I just love watching sick people get well, and
Yeah.
there's no hidden agenda behind it. It makes me feel good, So I do get gratification from watching, you know, people do well.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not doing it for a selfish reason.
Right.
That's why I can live with it because I think the old me would maybe do something because they expected
Yeah.
something in return.
Mhm.
I
Right.
do get enjoyment though, so I am getting paid. But
And
you
that's
know,
okay.
it's a different thing though with me today than the old dark living person. Uh, I was, not the greatest person really. A lot of issues, but a lot of them stemmed from my abuse. Um,
Mm.
it, you know, I don't know if you've ever. Everybody I think has experienced this. Like a family member is the sweetest guy just about you've ever met in your life, but when he drinks, the dude is Satan. I'm
Mm.
telling you, the guy just goes crazy. He drinks two beers and he just flips out and wants to beat everybody up. I mean, so I wasn't that guy, but I definitely was. I was kind of like the happy drunk, but just didn't look very good. And, it, I was just an embarrassment, man. It's things are a lot better now.
And Mark, you know what? If there's one thing that I really would like to end this off with, you know, I'm familiar with your career. I'm familiar with now Mark Kendall, the person. And what I have to say is really bloody well done. Bloody well done on the man that you have become, the man that is like Santa Claus, consistently giving back. You've done well. And if both Daniela and I can implore you, please don't stop. Please don't stop doing what you're doing. And equally as important, we implore you, please don't stop being the man who you are meant to be. And we thank
Yes.
you for all the work that you've done.
I'm a big fan of the McCartneys and the Joe Walshes and the Alice Coopers of the world too, who are doing the same thing I am, reaching out, the Rob Halfords. You know, um, we're just normal folks, and I'm not even on the level of all these heroes. They go out and 2 million people get to hear, and I'm sitting there 10 years. It took me to just work with 134. So, like I said, I'm doing the best I can.
You're so
I
cute.
don't have the profile of those dudes. I wish I did, man. But I like to get involved. Alice Cooper does a lot of good things, so I'm gonna go play some guitar down in Arizona. At any function he has, because he
Mm.
is really a giving dude. So you know, there's a lot of other people out there. I'm just trying to do my part. So I appreciate your kind words.
And with that,
Sweet
folks, we
stuff.
conclude another edition of Doing It Sober Live. We would like to extend our thanks to Mr. Mark Kendall, the legend, the musician, the absolute fundamental, or fundamental is the wrong word, the monument of what it's like being just an absolute light in the world. And again, Mark, thank you so much. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.
I
God
love
bless
what you
you.
guys are
And
doing too,
remember,
man. Thanks for having me on, and I'm happy to be a part of getting the word out. And you know, Daniela, you rock, and thank you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
we'll talk again
Okay,
soon.
bye.
Next time, everybody, keep doing it sober.
Peace.
Cheers.
Cheers.